Greetings everybody, welcome back to the Skipper channel. Today we're going to address how to fix a little problem that you may have with your lock and you're being afraid somebody can bypass it. So what we're going to do is concentrate on my channel of how to make stuff more secure instead of showing how bad something is. And so I've pretty much gotten the lowest security lock available off the internet from Amazon. It was so cheap that I can probably literally take one of my picks that fit for the oval cores, these round cores, and pick it faster than I can even bypass it. But anyway, that's not what we're going to be about today. Is picking. We're going to be about how to modify your lock to make it more secure. So, first things first, we're going to put this right back together. Let's get this right in here because we're going to start from the very beginning and, act like this little thing's installed. And just do it real fast. So every one of these locks from any company is going to have a little grub screw right there that will keep it from coming out when you unlock the lock, so the core won't come out. So when you turn it like this, it won't do that. Instead, you'll turn it a little bit more like that, get it seated in. Hold on a minute. Just got to reinstall it back correctly. There we go. Get it right in there, just like it comes from the factory. And then there we go. It stops it from coming all the way out. That way you can lock, take your key out, lock it back just like that. So anyway, what you have to do to begin with to get your core out is, of course, unlock it. Take the grub screw, and I'm just going to leave this grub screw unscrewed for this point on, just to make it easy. And then we can take this right out. Now, once you have this point, this lock will not readily come out. It will not just come out just like that. So what you'll need to do is, in some cases, some locks have to be turned about halfway, and then you can push down with your fingernail and pull it all the way out. Some locks you can turn all the way and do the same thing and pull the core out. So what we'll do is we'll set this over to the side right now, and just like that, that's how you take the core out. But I'm going to put this right back in just real fast for a second, because I'm going to do before and after with this lock. I'm not going to put that little grub screw back in because, I just want to show you that, this thing can be bypassed pretty easily. And with this one here, we're going to have to go to go in here legitimately from the side, just like this. And come around, fit it right inside there, and we should be able to just pump it a couple times, and we bypassed it just like that. Okay, so you can see that bypass does work on this lock. Now this is not the company's lock, but I did want to show you how that works, so that when we modify this, you can see how it will prevent it from happening again. So again, you just saw how I did that, put it right in, bypassed it right off just really easily. Now again, this is not the company's lock core, but it is a cheap and pretty much works the same way that you just saw. Now, we're going to sit there and say, okay, Skipper, let's get to the good stuff. Show me how we can keep that from happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit there and look at this ramp and look at the problem we have with this ramp right here. So let me just show you how the bypass works. So now we have this ramp right here. Now I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Y'all fuss at me if I get off camera, but I want you to be able to see this a little bit better. As you can see, I have this on a previous video. You can see that ramp goes all the way to the bottom right here. And the bypass works by, this shim coming in right up through here and pulling on that ramp and pulling it down just like that. And then a couple pumps and the ramp is down and it just comes right out. Just like the key works. That's what the key does. See, when the key is inserted, you pull it in, the ramp comes down, and you're able to pull the lock out. So what we want to do is say, well, how in the world can this be prevented? Well, a couple things. Watch this entire video, because at the end of the video, this is like a very low secure belt keyway here, but I'm going to show you what I use in my lock that is made by this company that keeps this from happening, because they are very good at making very robust and hard to, you can see them taking sledgehammers and all this stuff, pry bars and all this stuff, these locks, and they just won't come out. This was the only vulnerability we found, that just people wants to sit there and say, throw it away and make a paperweight out of it. No, let's not do that. Let's make this thing better. Let's make this thing work. If you're satisfied with the keyway you have, but want to make it more secure, watch this, and I'm going to show you how to do it real fast, because I'm going to do it with this cheap Chinese lock here, straight off of Amazon, that I think I may have paid $6 maybe for the core. So we're going to sit there and do that real fast. So again, we're going to take this core out. Well, not yet. We're not going to take the core out. So anyway, we're going to address the issue right here. So the issue is, and I'm going to get a nice little pic here so I can point out. The issue is we're going to come in this ramp, and it's going to come in here. So what I think we need to do is, there's not a whole lot of room here. So if you can sit there and see, I take this core, put it right in here. There is not a whole lot of room between that ramp and that core. So what we need to do is find a way. I'm going to zoom back out so I don't get off camera. I may have been off camera, and I apologize if I was. But we're going to modify this ramp right here real fast on this cheap core, so that when we take this shim and put it in next time with this same exact lock, and I start to shim it and try to do this, that it's not going to work. Because right now this thing wants to go up just like that, and it's going to force that down and do that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my Sharpie magic marker. Now remember, the core is still inside here. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to try to keep it in real close. You guys try to keep it right on. I'm going to try to keep it in here. Let's not advertise my ginger ale can any more than we want to. But I'm going to take this thing, put it right here, and then I'm going to mark with this Sharpie. And I'm going to come right here, and I'm pressing all the way against the core, and I'm going to mark it right through here. Because I know there's like only, at best, a half a millimeter maybe between this lock body, this core right here, and the lock body. So now I've got this marked up really good right here, and I say, okay, that's where I want to cut. I want to do that right there. So what I'm going to do, put this right back. Now, this is where it's important now to take your core apart, because now we need to take this out, because we don't want to damage this part any at all. So we'll take this, again, turn it a little bit, come right here, pull the core right out. Take that out, I can put the key back. Now, you can see what I have right here. So let's take a look at it. So we have the lock body. You can see where my Sharpie hit it, and you can kind of see, hey, I think that's about where we need to cut. So this is my first take. So this is, hope it goes well. But again, I've only been around the block one time, so not twice or three times, just once. So we'll see how this goes. But my theory is, if I take this, take a little cutting tool, and start cutting through here and cut this thing short down to right there, I think we'll have success in being able to prevent this thing from being bypassed. Because if we look at a good lock company like this Abloy Protect 2, whoa, this thing, camera got dark. Sorry, you can see how much higher that ramp is, which will basically give us the same thing. You see how much higher that straight end is right there over this one? So I'm hoping we'll get the same thing out of that. And I'm going to show you some more about that one here in just a second. Again, I'm going to zoom out so I don't get off camera any. So I'm just going to do this by hand real fast, what I have here. And the tools I'm going to use, I figure, shoot, we can use many different tools, but I've got a Dremel. You could probably use a tip like this right here. So this is just a regular, I've used this to cut into stainless steel before, or whatever we need to do. That's a nice tip we can use there. Here's another one. This is a diamond tip, so you could use that too. And you can kind of take that thing and take it right here. If I took this, I'll probably just take this thing and go just like straight across and go in. But what I have loaded up on my Dremel right now is my my cutter tip, just like this. I use it to cut all kinds of things. And boy, you know what? I kind of got myself in a bind. I didn't prepare, so I'm having to move my Dremel a little bit so I can get around here and cut. But what I'm going to do on this one, I'm gonna kind of go because what we want to do is we want to make sure that when that bypass comes through, it jams. So I don't want to go cutting at this angle. I'm gonna cut the opposite angle a little bit. Cut in like this. So can we see? Let me see if I can get a little bit better angle. Cut in like that. So I'm gonna come in, cut this angle in just like this right here. Cut in down there and kind of get it down flat, and then I probably flatten it down, and we'll see what happens. But I know I don't need to go a whole lot, so let's cut this thing on. Pardon the noise, it's gonna be loud. Here we go, and we're gonna start cutting. So I'm gonna come here. Oh, it's going pretty smooth and fast. Okay. And be sure to wear your protective eyewear when you're doing that. Can you see how this thing looks right now? Take a look at that. I got this little cut in here. And you see the cut? So we're going to take this, we're going to kind of just sand it down. Put that thing in there just like that right there. Now look at that. Now, I'm kind of make it a little bit prettier around the edges if I can. I hope I'm still on camera. Nope, I wouldn't. I apologize for that, guys. So anyway, there we go. Look at that. Now, this thing looks ugly, but it should do the job. Now, I'm going to kind of show you what I did. I did this real fast. I didn't even take it apart. I just went in there and cut with my Dremel, and you can see the angle on it. So let's just see what this thing looks like when I put it in here. Again, still works. Put the key in here. Still works just like that. You know, it still depresses all the way. So everything should work just great. Let's put this thing in here and see kind of what it looks like in here. Now, instead of this thing going in automatically now, which is exactly what I wanted to see, I am going to have to push this down a little bit to get it started. But that's the whole idea. We don't want this thing to be bypassed. So now there we are. So now we are right there. Now, let's take a look at this thing. I want to zoom in on this thing really good. Oops, may have zoomed in too good. Now, as we can see, put my finger behind it, you can see there's a little ramp right there. So hopefully with that little ramp in there now, that when I put this shim in here to come in and grab it, it's going to grab that shim and it's going to jam it just like that, and it's going to rip. Okay, as you can see, this thing already started to rip. So that is my theory right now. So I'm going to take this exact same lock, we're going to put it in, and we're going to try to bypass it one more time. So let's put this thing in here. We got it in. It locks. Let's make sure the lock works properly. It is locked. We take it like this. It unlocks. Great. Everything's working great so far. So I'm going to take my shim right here. We're going to put this in here. And we just hope we don't have a skipper fail. And we're going to come up around until we know we're in behind it. We're in behind it. And come on, come on, come on, pump, 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 pump. Come on, unlock, come on. And guess what? I did not have that on camera. Shoot. Sorry guys, but I gotta leave this on video to show you that this is my one take fails. I put this in and I pump, 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 and this thing failed. Well, this is what I'm going to do because I think it's more important to show you guys that this thing did work. So right here, you can see the piece of shim fall out right there that I ripped. I'm going to do this again with my third piece, and I knew I had a third piece for a reason because good Lord looks after me a lot of times, and he says sometimes I make you do things for a purpose. So here's my third shim. Okay, here we go. Let's take this shim right in here. Exactly, I need to go this way with it. So we're going to put this in right here. Put it in. I'm going to fill it in there, get it in, and it is in behind it right now. Okay, so in theory, here's the other identical core. In theory, I cut this thing right here like this where it has. And so now this shim that's in here should be locked in behind that notch. And now I got this one on camera, so now I'm going to try to shim again, and this thing is jammed up tight. I'm going to say, come on, pump, pump, pump. And guess what? It rips. It will not open with the shim attack. There you go. You have a great lock that had a flaw in it that you were able to fix in under a couple minutes to make it secure so that this simple bypass will not work on this lock. Hallelujah. Your stuff is safe now. Go in, get you a Dremel, get you something else to sit there and do what I just did to this lock on my first attempt. So there we go. There's the ripped piece of metal inside, and as you can see, that's what you want to see on your lock when you have it in. Just a little bit of a backwards cut right there so that when that shim goes in, it doesn't push down, it rips. And when it rips and there's a piece inside of it, they cannot attempt to shim it a second time. The only way you can shim it a second time is to unlock this thing, dump that piece out that you ripped, put it back in and do it again. So there you go, you got your lock. Now, Skipper would never put a white belt lock on anything that he wants to keep secure. So I'm going to show you Skipper, and I think you all guys might know this. Skipper's an Abloy guy. I'm an Abloy guy for several reasons. Cause now I'm going to go right here and sit there and say, here's this lock right here. This is the one. This is the only one of this company's locks that has been shimmed attack. The other ones have not, and they probably can be, may not be able to be. But I'm just saying, if we notice, they always went after the high secure way they did. Now, Skipper has another video out there showing Skipper picking this lock open pretty easily. But listen to this, guys. This is a disc container lock. 80%, 90% of the lock pickers out there who do it for fun don't even attempt disc container locks. They don't have the tools to do them. So this lock cannot be bypassed. I mean, not bypassed, sorry. This lock was bypassed. This lock cannot be raked. Disc detainers can't be raked. Disc detainers cannot be, you can't take one of these, magic rakes that, gosh, that guy is so good at just going and say, hey, watch this, wha-pow, and this thing's open. Doesn't work on disc detainers. Can't do it. Only way you can pick a disc detainer is to have some sort of skill to put a pick in there and turn each one of those discs and know what you're feeling for to open it. That's why it takes special skills, special knowledge of learning how to do that, and it takes time to learn that. Now, yes, you saw me pick one open pretty fast, and Skipper said, I'm not going to use this lock on my locks because I'm going to go spend a little bit more to upgrade the keyway. But I do want to sit there and show you that this was a lock that was shimmed. If you own this lock, sit there and do what I just did. Take your Dremel, cut it like this, cut it around, and you still got your same keys, you still got to get everything, and your lock is going to be good to go. And because for somebody to come pick your keyway with this company's highest graded that they sell lock is going to be, take somebody that is beyond the introductory lock picking realm, because they're going to need to go to the introductory, pick a lock. They go through American locks. They go maybe to a blue belt a little bit more. And then once they start getting higher up, they're like, hey, I need a new challenge. I want to go to disc detainer. And this is somebody that's going to have some knowledge of some, lock picks. But anyway, when you get to that point in the lock sport community, these guys aren't thieves. These guys are pretty good guys who just love to break into these little locks as like a puzzle challenge. So these are the guys you're not going to worry about. So disc detainers are probably one of the most safest ones you can go with, because for somebody to go for the disc detainer picking ability, they're probably in the lock sport and more into, I want to figure out how this puzzle works, other than I want to learn how to break into things, because disc detainers are the least common locks in the U.S. today. So somebody's not going to go in to learn how to pick disc detainers because I'm going to go out and find this company's lock and start picking it and causing trouble. No, they're doing it because they love puzzle picking like me, learning how to do things, love a challenge, and are not out there. Now, me, I'm more into, let's teach these people how to keep their stuff more secure and safe. And that is why I went to the Abloy security wise on most of my locks and on my trailer locks, because one, this is a green belt lock. When you sit there and you go to buy an Abloy, you're minimally starting off with a brown belt level lock, and then it goes to red belt and then black belt, and then if you end up going to the Protect 2, you're at a 3rd degree black belt lock, which somebody is not going to sit there and start picking on your lock to break in. They're picking on your lock to sit there and say, I need a challenge because I've got an engineer and a genius mind who just needs a challenge to get into something. And they want to spend 30, 45 minutes on learning how to do it. And yet I have not seen anybody to pick one of these that doesn't know the keyway already. So in other words, know the key cuts on the keys to know what disc they need to turn internally on a Protect 2. This is a 3rd degree black belt lock. So, but again, you want to say, I want 3rd degree. This will not fit inside the puck lock. This will not fit inside that trailer lock. Skipper's working on a solution for that. I hope I get one soon to bring out to the community. Oh, look at that mess around my workbench. Anyway, 3rd degree. But what Abloy does have is they do have a black belt keyway lock. Actually, they have two of them. They have the Abloy Century, which is probably the most common for us here in the U.S. and easily available. And I really, really like this one because when you buy this vending lock, I want you to look at this plug. This plug already comes straight up. One, you don't have to worry about this being bypassed because it's not going to be bypassed. It's going to be ripped right away because it's going to essentially do the same thing I just did with this lock. Whichever one I've got somewhere, wherever I put it. Yeah, here we go. What I did with this lock. It's going to sit there and just rip their things every time. Now, what I do want to show you, if you do want to decide to go up to upgrade to a vending lock and you go to, let's say, it's a black belt 2 keyway. Like I said, when you sit there and get to that high level, these locks aren't going to be picked in the wild. They're going to be set in a vise. You know, most of these locks, they're going to be set upside down on a trailer. This one will be. And you're talking about somebody having to get up underneath, get their little lock pick, put it up underneath, and it is just not, it is just so uncomfortable and practical to get into a black belt keyway lock where you have to know and feel everything so good that it's not going to happen. That's why, Abloy Century is going to be perfect. It is not the cheapest, but we're talking, who knows, $30, $40 for brand new. That's if you, it might be more than that. I'm sorry, but that's going to give you a keyway that's actually yours forever, and nobody else is going to have that keyway. Only you can have that actually key duplication to do that. But also in the Century, it's going to give you that straight up and down, buck right there. Now, here's one thing installing a Century. So if you get a Century, some vending locks, it will not go in initially until you turn that key halfway so that thing can depress. Well, it might be all the way so that you can depress that key all the way down. So I've got to find that sweet spot that it does all the way. Put it right there. And as you can see, comes right in. Just like that. So you can put your Abloy Century in, and then we'll go in like that, and you're good to go. It does stick out a little bit, but everything's still secure on that, and you got a black belt keyway. Now, you do not have to buy this company's puck lock to get the Century. There is other company out there that sells the puck lock that you can just buy the Century with it. Any puck lock will fit into this company's trailer lock, so just keep that in mind. But anyway, again, you have that. Now, the other thing is, I'm going to reiterate, you saw in my other video, is if you absolutely want the best way to keep that bypass from working. This is the Protect 2. As you can see, key's not in it. I cannot push that plunger down. It didn't matter if this ramp went all the way to the bottom or not. This plunger isn't moving. This is key retaining, which means the only way that plunger is coming down is if the key is turned. Just like that. So if you want key retaining plunger, go for key retaining. You have the options are going to be the Abloy Exec. There are some maybe Medico. Medico does really good because they have a high ramp also on their plungers. That will keep it from being bypassed. So you can use Medico keyways inside of these. But anyway, this is what I'm about. I'm about, let's not exploit and blow up the internet with how to break into these locks, because this company has done a great job on security with beefy, hard, anti-destructive ways to get into your trailer. Yes, we found an easy way to take the lock out and steal your trailer. The skipper just showed you how to modify your current lock to keep that from happening. Okay, so now if you're worried about keyway security, disc detainer, yes, is the way to go because very few people know how to pick disc detainers. But again, the disc detainer they use is a lower keyway disc detainer. If you want to go to higher disc detainer, that takes a whole nother skill set. If you want to go to Medico, that is like purple belt. That is like very, very, very good secure keyway for trailer. People are just going to bypass your trailer or your lock that you have. They're not just going to mess with it. It is too difficult to get into those for somebody that doesn't know that. And if you have, thugs going to have to have some brains to get into it. If they have a half a brain, they're going to have a job instead of stealing trailers. Because Skipper's trailer was stolen from him and towed across the state line in 30 minutes to where there is no registration requirement for trailers on that side of the state line. So they just took the tag off of Skipper's trailer and kept my trailer. And unfortunately for me, I didn't have insurance on my trailer, so I lost all of my $3,000 on my trailer. That is how Skipper got into, hey, let me come in here and make things better for you guys. Let's make things more secure for you guys. Let's get this right. Let's not sit there and throw names at each other. Let's not, let's not make this a bad thing. The lock sport community is a good community because we can find flaws in things to help lock companies make things better. And this lock company did not mean to make this flaw. This flaw was found out from this guy who was very, very good at bypassing locks. And as you saw Skipper, I bypassed it really easy. So let's make this thing better. So Skipper found a solution. Skipper came right here and said, hey, let's take the worst key lock that we have that I can actually get into this lock quicker with my lock pick than I can even by bypassing it. But let's just take this thing and make it better so we can show that how this thing cannot be bypassed anymore. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Here's one thing. I don't make any money on my videos. I appreciate your subscriptions. I appreciate your comments. Throw it out there. I really appreciate your shares. And I'm sorry sometimes I get long-winded because I'm just very, very passionate about lock security and stopping thieves from stealing our stuff. And that's what I'm all about. I want to sit there and say, hey, we found a vulnerability. Let's fix it. Let's make it better. And if we have to do that on our own temporarily until this company comes up with a little bit better lock design, they may not. They may leave it up to you to sit there and upgrade your lock because it is expensive to get better cores in these things, and they may want to just keep their price in. But I just showed you a great way to come in here and make this thing better so it can't be bypassed. So anyway, I really appreciate you sharing this video. Put it out to people who own these things so they can say, hey, look at this. He's going to show you how to fix this. Let's do it. And I'm going to tell you right now, I did this in one take. This was my one take video. Take my word for it or not, because videos are videos. I could have said this multiple times. but this was my first video I did on this. I kind of planned it out, kind of had my things around. And anyway, you know, I want this kind of lock war to end with this company because I want this thing to show you guys how to fix this thing temporarily until we get better stuff. I mean, heck, look at this. We got one of the best locks companies in the world, Sargent and Greenleaf. This is they currently use this on all their railroads. I mean, this is a government lock, but I mean, shoot, you can go 3D print keys just like I did. And take your 3D printed keys, boom, go. Yeah, let's find out what this. I got every keyway for every railroad right here, 3D printed. And you know, stick this right in, my little 3D printed key. I can turn it just like that. Open my lock up just like that with a 3D printed key. I mean, that's pretty cool. It doesn't mean this lock isn't good. This lock is really good. It is really robust, meant for, you know, heart attacks. But hey, you know, it was that easy. So, you know, here it is. It's a 102 Sargent and Greenleaf railroad lock. It's one of my collector locks. I really like it because they're really cool. But they didn't go real high security on their keyway. Anyway, didn't mean to get on that tangent. Just kind of want to throw that in there. Appreciate you guys really watching. Threw some great comments at me. I'm really sorry that this thing went over 30 minutes. If you're still with me. If you get the idea and you saw how to fix your lock so it can be bypassed, good job. That was my whole point of this video, is so you guys can fix this thing and take your current lock if you want to keep it and make it better. So anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Give me a thumbs up, give me likes, whatever. You don't have to give me anything, but because I'm not making money on this, I'm just trying to make our community more secure, stopping thieves from stealing things because of easy, non-thinkable attacks. So anyway, like I said, appreciate you guys watching. Have a great night. Skipper's out. Mrs. Skipper's at the beach. So I was able to get down here into my little lock world and just have a ball tonight. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm down here having a ball. I'm playing with all my locks, playing with my keys, just having a good old time getting into everything down here and just messing around. Hope you guys have fun with your stuff. Like I said, showed you a great way and easy way to fix it. Thanks for watching again. Hey, Skipper's out. Have a good night. Thanks for watching.